Hi everyone, it's Fading Dragon. I am back from my holiday and I cannot wait to tell you what pens I brought for my holiday. These 6 plus 2 were the ones that went with me. These 6 stayed mostly at home, and these 2 were the ones that I kept all the time inside my bag. And those out of these 6, these 2 were the ones that I used the most during my holiday. And then when I came back, I inked 2 more pens. This one is a late new pen day sort of inking, just because I got this during the Dutch pen show, but because of my holiday I didn't get the time to ink them. And so once I got back, this pen was the first one that I inked. And then the other one is this Pilot 823. My friend was coming and I wanted them to try a Pilot 823, so I inked it. And out of these 8 pens, I chose them in hurry because right after Dutch pen show, one day after, I needed to go for my trip, and thus I hurriedly chose them without really thinking of what kind of inks they are. Some of them I already know because I already inked them before, while some of them were quite a gamble, but I think I did a really good spread of pens and inks. And most of these were grinds, and by the end of the month, I felt that I really missed my regular rounded nibs. And so yeah, let's get to it. The first pen and ink combination is Pennonia Naranjos Ilija, which means orange soda, and I fill it inside this Lotus Neer, a low volume eyedropper pen. For the nib, I put in the CY Mini Sankakusen in it. Pennonia Naranjos Ilija, according to the website of Pennonia, it is inspired by the misspelling of their daughter, I think. And this is such a cute ink. I'm finding myself not really reaching out to brighter orange inks usually. So buying a bottle of this Pennonia Naranjos Ilija was quite a gamble on my side. I love this color. It has a nice range of shading as well, as you can see here on the writing sample and on the swatch card. Like the lightest is like this yellowish oranges, and then the darkest is this. And because this pen is really wet, I can get the whole range from the lightest to the darkest, and it has been a pleasant to write with. I don't know if I will ink this ink on other seasons other than summer and autumn, but I really want to ink more brighter inks. I didn't expect to really enjoy writing with this pen because I first bought this pen during the Dutch pen show while I passed because it was on a good pricing. But I really love how comfortable the grip section is. It's on the bigger side, so I think size-wise it's pretty similar to my Opus 88. And thus I love big pens, and this has been very comfortable to hold. Let me see. Yeah, so it's almost the same. It sits comfortably on my hand, and whenever I write with this, I enjoyed it so much. When I was in the plane, I didn't really care or put in any of my pens on the nib up like what I'm supposed to. I also didn't fill all my pens to its fullest, so I was completely aware that the air bubble, the air difference on the plane, and then when I was when it landed again, I was fully aware that there might be a chance that my inks burp to the pen. Out of the 6, no, 8 pens that I had with me. This pen was the only one that had some inks on the cap when I opened it again when I was already on the ground. But that's alright. I just need to clean it a bit and then it's clean again. And this pen material is ebonite, which I am a fan of. It is very close to Diamine Bliss Orange. Naranjo's Ilija has more yellowish tint to it, and it is definitely more dramatic compared to Diamine Pumpkin. I don't have a bottle of Diamine Pumpkin. I wanted to buy it, but I keep delaying it. I think because of this Pennonia and Naranjo's Ilija, I don't need to buy a Diamine Pumpkin anymore, which is a good thing. That's the first one. The second pen and ink combination that I have next is also from Pennonia. I have Pennonia Budavari Veretes inside my Skaban Studio Dreamshift Cigar. And the nib in it is the CY Naginata. I think I wrote with this pen more than the rest of the other 6 pens that I didn't bring out from my home. I was out of this ink, so yeah, I think I did use this the most out of them all. This pen and ink combination is very good. The nib is very wet and Pennonia Budavari Veretes is such a calming green. So on the swatch card, I can see here that it has quite a dramatic darker part, while on the lighter part it's also light. I think maybe because I have not used this pen for quite a while, it looks a bit darker on the writing sample, but if I were to use it regularly, then the writing will look like this, like on the swatch card. It's such a fun ink to write with. And Pennonia Budavari Veretes, according to the website, it's inspired by one of the famous building in Hungary. It is also a reimagined of Pennonia Susmo. And I think Mate from Pennonia did a very good job with the new color as well for this one, because Susmo was very not legible at all, while Budavari Veretes is very legible and it is still keeping its paleness and pleasantness, like a green lichen like of green. So I really like this and I'm glad that I bought a bottle. As for color comparison, I do think it's the closest with Troublemaker C-Class. Budavari Veretes is just slightly cooler than Troublemaker C-Class. Okay, the next one on the list is Colorverse Gravity Wave inside my Opus 88 Pumpkin with CY Cursive Smooth Italic nib. This combination is just so gorgeous. Colorverse Gravity Wave is one of my earlier big bottles that I have during my fountain pen journey, and so I adored its color from the first time I got it, and I still love its color until now. I think this combination is like, it is my comfort combination per se. I love the ink, I really love the pen, and this nib is also just marvelous. I got it ground by CY on last year's Dutch Pen Show. Throughout this 1 year, this pen has enabled lots of people, and last I heard during the Dutch Pen Show, lots of fellow Fountain Pen Club member had their nibs grinded to this Cursive Smooth Italic thanks to this grind and this pen and this nib. Other than I adore this combination, I really love writing with it, and whenever I wrote with it during my holiday, I always smiled, which is a good indication that it is a good combination. As for color comparison, Colorverse Gravity Wave is the closest with Robert Oster Tranquility, although Colorverse Gravity Wave have more sheen compared to the Robert Oster Tranquility. On Gravity Wave, on certain paper, maybe not on this Yusari paper, but sometimes you can, not sometimes, most of the time I can see the sheen as well on writing when I'm using Tomoe Refer paper. Alright, the next one is Sailor Shikiori Yukiusagi Snow Rabbit inside my Sailor 1911 large with Pro 21 karat gold nib. This one I chose in hurry. Well, all of my pens and inks I chose in hurry, but this one specifically I chose because I wanted to have the Sailor feedback with me, and at the same time I also bought some packs of Yukiusagi Dream Touch Pensio, and so for me it's very easy. I just need to put it inside the pen and then it's done. And it's very useful, especially since for this inking I ink 7 of the pens and inks just the day when I need to go out, and so time is of the essence, and thus I need to do what I can do to make my inking faster. I am really glad to bring this with me because I hope that the camera can catch it. It's that the changing from wet to dry for this ink is just magical. So it's bluish when it's wet and then it turns to grayish with a bit of brownish undertone when it dries. I love inks, but at the same time I also love non-pouring inks, and Sailor Shikiori Yukiusagi in my dictionary is one of the non-pouring inks. And I do feel that I can write with it at all time. Oh, and usually I'm the type to be okay to clean the pen and put the ink down the drain if I am bored with certain ink. But I think with this Sailor Shikiori Yukiusagi, as there's only just a bit of it left, I will keep writing with it and not clean the pen until I write it dry. As for color comparison, it's a special ink, so I don't think I have anything close to the exact color, but it's quite similar to Birmingham Pen Company's Salt Marsh. I think especially in some paper, Salt Marsh can look brownish or grayish depending on the paper, and so it's kind of similar with Yukiusagi, although Yukiusagi looks warmer because of the brown undertone. And it's Wearing Gold, the Sorrows of Young Werther has a yellowish greenish undertone, while Sailor Shikiori Yukiusagi have the brownish undertone. Okay, the next one is this Wet and Wise Arteon from Ebonite, and I feel it with Taccia Sha. I love tea, and of course I want to have something relating to tea during my travel, and thus that's why I have Taccia Cha with me. I really switched around the nibs in a hurry, and I wanted to have the medium thick nib with me, and this pen is one of my newest pen that I got during the Touch Pen show, and so I thought this would be a good combination. But I completely forgot that this Franklin Christoph medium thick nib is quite picky in what pens it wants to be in, and unfortunately this combination is not the best for this nib grip section. This Wet and Wise Arteon is on the smaller side for me, so I think for this pen I will just stick to the regular medium or broad nib, as that one is much more forgiving in the angle. I love the pattern of this pen, although at the same time I'm not so sure about the comfort. Maybe I will know next when I change the nib with something else, and I will see if it would be more comfortable for me to write with. We will see. Taccia Cha is the closest with Pennonia Castagnepana. It's similar in color now that I see it, although Taccia Cha is slightly more reddish, and if I remember correctly, it is also slightly wetter compared to Pennonia Castagnepana. It's also pretty close to Diamine Infant Roasted Chestnut, although Roasted Chestnut is much more yellower. Rosewood, Diamine Rosewood is also quite close, although for Rosewood I think it's slightly more yellowish. Yeah, but in writing sample they are quite similar. Alright, we have another Taccia ink. This one is from the ukiyo-e line, Utamaro Ume Murasaki. I have it inside my Drewnem Pisane Orion, but I call this pen my dragon pen because of the texture of the pen. And also I was like asking myself what kind of dragon I am, and I ended up thinking that I may be a water dragon, and this pen is just perfect for that. You can see me swimming on the water, and this is my tail, and this is my dragon. I'm a dragon. What am I saying? When opening this pen, it's not the smoothest because I can hear some crick sound. But that's alright, it's just a bit strange. I really love the matte finish and also the little sparkles, hidden sparkles that I can find throughout the whole resin. It is so gorgeous. I bought this ink bottle because I really love Ume Murasaki. It's like a brown, but it also looks pinkish. It's an interesting color, and it also changes depending on what kind of paper that I use. And so it has been quite a surprise sometimes to see what color will come out, and that's what I love about Ume Murasaki. I feel I put a Gena Reverse Architect nib for this pen. I thought that because this is a dragon pen, then I want to put in another special nib in it, and thus that's why I hurriedly moved my Gena Reverse Architect from another pen to this pen. Just like the Wet n Wise Arteon, I do think that this nib and pen combination might not be the best because the same with Wet n Wise Arteon, the grip section of this pen is also quite on the smaller side on my comfort level, and thus while the nib is fine to be in this pen, it's not as comfortable as I wanted it to be, which is a pity because I really love the ink, I love the pen and also the nib. There's some crusties in it. I just noticed that there are some crusties in it. I don't know why that is, so I need to check it after this one. Very distracted looking at the pen. But anyway, I cannot really put a proper color comparison here because of that properties that change its color depending on the paper. But looking at the ones that I have here, Utamaro Ume Murasaki is pretty close to Sailor Shikiori, Yutsubami, Robot Oyster Plumnut, and Pennonia Musphoros on the pinker side. The next one is Diamine Kelly Green inside my Pilot Kakuno Papa with medium nib. This combination was I added this at the very last minute because I thought I wanted to have a pen that I can put inside my bag anytime. For Diamine Kelly Green, it was one of the Diamine ink bottle that I have somewhere around my table that I can use immediately. And so usually I don't really re-ink any ink unless I really like the ink. For Diamine Kelly Green, I'm okay with it. I don't love it so much, but because it's conveniently placed on my table, I chose to ink it during my travel. And having a green is always nice because it's just a type of color that match with any of the colors mostly. And so yeah, this goes with me. When I filled this in, it was almost full because I took a little bit too much using the pipette. I'm already bored with this combination. After writing some letters, I think I will clean this pen before I write it dry. This pen has been serving me very greatly. The medium nib of the Pilot Kakuno is always very reliable. As for color comparison, Diamine Kelly Green is like the darker version of Diamine Jade Green. I have Pennonia left and Dula inside my Kaweco Perkeo with medium nib. Out of the Pilot Kakuno and the Kaweco Perkeo, I write with the Kaweco Perkeo more because it has quite a special ink in it, the Pennonia left and Dula, which is one of my newest bottle that I got from the Dutch Pen Show. It's also very comfortable and I love the nib so much. Yes, I can see here that I only have one drop of this ink left. This combination is just gorgeous. Pennonia left and Dula is feeling wet on this pen. I don't know if the ink itself is wet or normal, but I know for sure that it was lovely to write with this pen and ink combination. And on the color itself, it's purplish and it has some intensity, not intensity, like slight chroma shading in it, although it's not really as prominent. I just love writing with this. I keep reaching out for it during my holiday. This ink is also the reimagined re-release of Pennonia Orgona, one of the lighter original ink that is already discontinued. And I do think that the left Dula is a better purple compared to Orgona just because it's very legible and it's so pleasant to write with. As for color comparison, Pennonia left Dula is pretty close to Birmingham Pen Company lampshade to my surprise, although left Dula is slightly more strong in purple color. It's also pretty close to Journalist Love and Dare. In the past, I didn't have a bottle of it. I only have a sample of, and I kind of regret not buying it. But now that I see that it's pretty close to Pennonia Left and Dula, I don't really need to get Journalist Love and Dare immediately anymore. These 8 were the pens that I brought for my holiday, and the next 2 are the pens that I have inked right now as well. This one is I have Pennonia Kromakek inside my Kaweco Perkeo with iridescent pearl with medium nib as well. I am usually not the type to buy more than one pen of the same model but different color, but I make the exception with Kaweco Perkeo because I really love the Kaweco Perkeo that I have here, and I love the color of the Kaweco Perkeo over here. So I bought it. Logically, maybe it's better for me to buy a fine nib so that I can have multiple choices for the nib. But I decided to go with the medium as well because I know that it would be very reliable. It's so strange that my Kaweco Sport has a bad nib, but all of my Kaweco Perkeo have good nib. And this also includes the medium that I have here. It's very comfortable and very wet. I also just realized that the fit of the Kaweco Perkeo iridescent pearl is the clear one, which I really love, and I was quite surprised when I inked it because I didn't realize about it before. In general, Pennonia Kromakek is much more dramatic compared to the Pennonia Left and Dula. So Pennonia Kromakek is bluer compared to Left and Dula. Left and Dula is more purple. And this Pennonia Kromakek is the re-release of Pennonia Balaton Cake. I see that Balaton Cake is bluer while Kromakek is purplish more. That is okay because I love it this way because it makes it very legible. Well, I remembered when I was writing with Pennonia Balaton Cake, it was quite too light for me that I cannot really read what I write, but Pennonia Kromakek, I don't have any problem with it. And it's pretty close to Pennonia Tihani Lila, my other favorite from Pennonia, which is more on the purplish side, although Kromakek is lighter in color. This Pennonia Tihani Lila is still my most favorite purple from Pennonia, and I'm pretty sad that it is discontinued now. Yeah, I really enjoy writing with this combination, and it's also the perfect match for this Kaweco Perkeo because it has chroma shading and this Kaweco Perkeo is iridescent pearl. Love this so much. And the last one that I have for you today is this Pilot Custom 823 medium 14 karat gold nib, and I fill it with Taunus ink, one of the independent ink makers that are coming at the Dutch pen show. Taunus ink does not have any name to their inks, but recently Soibu swatched lots of Taunus inks and gave naming for all of them, and so we started to adopt the name that Soyi had in her video. I will link it down below if I remember. And this one is Taunus Lucky Green, a very nice cooler green color. I filled this pen because I wanted my visiting friend to try a Pilot Custom 823, and I completely forgot that this pen is quite picky with ink, at least for me, and so it's very good with very wet ink. And with Taunus Lucky Green, it's okay, although not the very best, and thus I think this ink is more on the not too wet, but just regular, but also not dry. It's a very pretty green color that is very happy looking. As the color wise, its base color is very close to Pilot Iroshizuku Shinryoku, although Taunus Lucky Green is on the lighter side. And the base color is also pretty similar to Pen BPS Cedar Pines Waving. So yeah, these are all the pens and inks that I have for you today. What do you think? Let me know. And if you were to go on a holiday, what pens and inks would you bring with you? And also, do you usually write more during holiday or do you write less? Let me know, and see you on the next one.